is history, the future mystery. This moment is the gift. Every second we're together.
Oh my gosh, it's Miracle Makers, and we are coming to you from Hollywood, the oldest studio in Hollywood, Sunset Gower. I'm with my beloved husband and friend and co-host of Miracle Makers, Greg Larson. This is Dr. Sarah Larson, and we've got a show for you today that will just open you up and connect you to the deepest parts of yourself and help you understand your spirituality, your humanity, and to create miracles in your life. Welcome, baby. I'm so excited to share this time on air with you.
I'm always excited to share time with you, my love.
We got to keep it clean.
Welcome, Miracle Makers. We are so excited because life is so magical and mystical. And when you can tap in at a deeper level, you harness your true birthright, in a sense, to create, to receive, to give miracles.
And we get to share a miraculous life, and we don't take one moment of that for granted. We really get what a treasure it is to be with one another, and what a treasure it is to be surrounded by miracle after miracle. And we want that for you. And so we bring to you live in studio our favorite miracle makers, favorite guests, and stories from around the world. We are just this week coming back from Egypt.
Wow, Egypt was amazing. Holy cows. I wish I could, put into a few words how miraculous Egypt was. But it was capital M. It was like every letter of miraculous was capitalized on this journey. It was so powerful, so miraculous, so mysterious, and just a treat. Every moment of that journey was a treat.
To be in Egypt, our Egyptologists, our Egypt tour guides, we're the American tour guides that get to share with our friends from around the world. Our Egypt tour guides said it rains maybe once, maybe twice, maximum 3 times in Egypt a year. And on our journey, we created ceremonies in 7 different occasions. It rained, and our Egyptologists were in tears. We had one person come with us that was in a wheelchair when she arrived, and by 48 hours, she was standing up and dancing.
They even put that on Egyptian news. Our guide, who's very, popular in Egypt, he used his cell phone to showcase this, and it actually made it onto Egyptian news, this miraculous
So
recovery,
Miracle Makers, what you're listening to here and what you're part of is making international news.
Yeah.
We want for you to have the miracles in your life. And in studio, we have with us one of our favorite people on the planet. She is a shaman. She is a international speaker. She takes tours around the world herself. She has a radio show out of California, Southern California, and a healing center. She is also a Hollywood starlight, socialite. We've got in studio Isabella Stoloff.
Hi, guys. I love you so much. I really do. It's so great to watch you together and that love and that camaraderie and that energy that you produce. And I'm going back to, when we first met, as we were running through the expos and passing out cards and then that 10-10-10 event. Do you remember that? The 10-10-10 event in the park?
Powerful ceremony that,
That was an amazing ceremony, and you had the most gorgeous place where we all hung out after, and I was doing healings on the ground, and it's been a wild ride. I was driving up thinking, gosh, it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years. We met at this brilliant expo that happens in Los Angeles on a regular basis, and immediately we had this connection.
Yeah, in the hallway. You remember? It was like you were running out, and I was filming something, and I was running also, and you said, "Oh my gosh, give me your hand." You read my palm. You handed me, and you were like. And I was like, oh my gosh, who is that person? She's amazing. And it took about a year. So that must have been February, I think, of 2009, because it took a year before I reached out, and it was Mother's Day.
Yes.
And I looked for you, and I looked for you, and I looked for you. And I really wanted to get together with you and my youngest daughter, Victoria, if you remember.
Yes.
And I can't remember how it happened, but it was synchronistic. I was just like everything lined up, and ooh, there's her number, And we came down to the Gateway.
You came down, and it was so amazing to have that experience with your daughter, and to really, instead of just a fly-by reading, to really, through your palm, through your daughter, get your full story. And Miracle Makers, her story will blow you away. I've invited her to all the glorious events. 10-10-10 was an international event that we produced. We produced some events at Agape and other events throughout
was
time.
Agape first?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I think Agape was before.
Right. We did some events all the way through that we produced. Agape Spiritual Center, which is one of my spiritual home in Los Angeles. All of these beautiful events. And I can't wait for you to hear more of the wisdom of Isabella Stoloff, this beautiful shaman. I want to start with your story. And I want to start so everyone can get... You grew up right down the street from here.
I did, actually. I went to LeConte Junior High School before there were gates around it and bars, and Chirimoya Elementary School also before there were gates and bars. And it's interesting. I used to walk down Bronson Avenue. I used to walk down here. I used to go to Thrifty's ice cream on the corner, and I think it might still be there. This was my home.
Your parents are in Hollywood.
This was my home. When they were alive, yes. My father was writer, director, producer Victor Stoloff, and my mother was Vogue cover model before there was such a thing as supermodel, Jacqueline Stoloff. And that you can actually look them both up.
She's known
and
in
they
Egypt.
They will come up. Well, that's funny. So, right, last year you were doing your group to Egypt, and you tagged me in one of the posts, and I thought, my dad was raised in Cairo, and I really should, just take a look at. I know he had a film called Egypt by 3. That film, Egypt by 3, has got to be on the internet. And sure enough, somebody has it posted on the internet, and I start watching it, and I see this woman, and I'm like, God, that looks like my mother. And it's the opening scene, and the daggers are being thrown at her. And I remember this story as a kid of my mom dodging the daggers and one of them hitting her, and this film. And I didn't realize it was the film that my father had produced and directed, and whatever else he did with that film, Egypt by 3. So but I don't really think it's my mom. I can't tell because of her voice. So I watch it till the end, and sure enough, they're in the. I can't remember if it was Jacqueline Craven or Jacqueline Stoloff. If she probably used Craven, and she was 27 in that film, and so I posted it, I think, on your thread.
Yes, it was beautiful, and they saw it. It was filmed at the Mina House, which is one of the beautiful places that we stay. Parts of the film were at the Mina House,
right? And the woman puts the actors that your father used are famous Egyptian actors.
Yes.
Oh.
Which is every part of your life and every part of your story. Growing up in Hollywood, larger than life. Your mom, your dad, traveling the world. You yourself stars for friends down the street.
Well, they were, it was interesting because, oh gosh, if I'd known you were going to say that, I would have looked up the guy's name. But the original Riddler
Yes.
on Batman lived right next door. Was it Frank Gorman?
That
Oh, thanks, Frank. He's like, you're not going to forget my name. Listen,
Yes.
I was walking down the hallway and I can feel them all. They're all here.
They
The
are.
movie stars of the 30s and 40s are walking around the hallways. I'm like, hi, guys. Thanks. Support us, Miracle Makers. Yay. Because we know you're here. You're on the lot still. The energy here is fantastic. So, yes, and, that cocktail parties and that whole, 60s vibe. And it was a very interesting time to grow up, being born in 1960 and from 60 to 70 in the Hollywood Hills was, the house that we owned was built for, was it the Chariots of the Gods or, one of those big chariot movies?
Yes.
They built all these little shacks, these little bungalows for the extras, and for the stars. And so that was our meager little home. And it was a very tumultuous time to grow up,
It was the first time people were doing anything. Much of
Yes.
in Hollywood, experimentation, movies.
Oh, Timothy Leary.
Yes.
And then my father went that realm. My father did docudrama types of films, although he did produce the first 13 episodes of Hawaii Five-0. Came back from Hawaii and said, I don't like the way television is going. He was hired as a writer at Warner Brothers right at the blacklist time. So he was blacklisted. The man he was working for was blacklisted. These things were happening,
It's an amazing place to grow up.
It's an
and so
amazing place to grow up.
It formulated you, and you had you pushed the buttons. You tried everything.
Well, I pushed the boundaries is
Yes.
what I did. We've got this English mother, quite proper and gorgeous. And then we've got this director, writer, producer, father, Russian, who's, very passionate, and it's very loud in the house, and it's very explosive. And his whole story, which actually we could, tap into just for a minute, because he had a whole other family in France, which was fascinating, right? My poor mother. But this is the energy, right? He's having this other family. I think I have a sister who's 9 months older than me. So, they were both pregnant at the same time. The youngest, I think it's the youngest, is coming to visit me on Wednesday.
Wow.
And we're going to take her to my middle sister in Oceanside. So the three of us are together for the very first time. It's her very first time meeting my middle sister, who's now 66. So, my father's legacy is living on. I've actually flown to France, met my sisters. I have three sisters there and a brother in Switzerland. So I went to Switzerland for a day. I have a sister in Santa Monica who I just recently met. So my dad got around. Let's just say.
He was more than just a miracle maker.
Right,
he was a baby maker.
Baby maker. He was a lover of women, He was
Yeah.
a lover of beautiful things. And rather than me holding that against him and feeling, anything but
Yes.
love for him, anything but thank you for all these children.
Yes.
Thank you for the Egyptian energy. The film that he made in Egypt in 1939. He was the first man to bring sound to Egypt
Yes.
in newsreels. The film Desert Boy is in the Museum of Modern Art. So that was his calling card when he came to America, and Rockefeller hired him for the war effort movies. So my dad lives on in these children that he's had. So it's very exciting for me. But to go back to that time, which was not an easy time to grow up in. And, the Vietnam War and JFK and Martin Luther King and the shootings. As young as I was still in that energy, And then the drug scene. Mm-hmm. And everybody was turning on. I mean, that's what, and I had two older sisters, so, it's not easy to get away from.
You were in this mix of energy. Everything's being tried for the first time.
Right.
Your parents are busy. You're exploring. Your sisters are parenting you. And you wind up in this amazing journey that's really a calling that shows up. If you'll share just a little bit about how you woke up.
It's interesting that it was, and you know me,
Yes.
I've created this deck of cards now, and one of the sayings is, there are no victims, only volunteers. So I signed up for that. I signed up for this amazing, energetic type of family that taught me how to be positive and passionate and persistent. And I chose to rebel and ditch school and hang out and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee at Jackie's coffee shop, which was right here on the corner of Sunset and Bronson. Or it might have been the Sunset and Gower. And I really got a taste of life. And at 14, I met and married the heroin dealer who was 20 years older than me and black. And I had these 2 beautiful children, pregnant at 15. So in a, nutshell, I was a runaway. I had a teen mom. I was a drug addict. I was a battered wife. I, at 26, found my husband dying of cancer of the colon. When he died, I lost custody of my kids and found myself walking the streets of Hollywood, and went from heroin to cocaine to pills to everything, eventually to crystal meth. And I say crystal meth sped me right to jail. So fast forward, 1991. So he died in 1986. In 1991, I found myself pregnant in prison. And I had turned myself in after an escapade. Thank God for my mother. And I got a pregnancy test while I was in there, and they said, "You're pregnant." And I said, wow.
Yeah.
I'm 31. I remember it like yesterday. That was when Sybil Brand Institute was still open down there off in East LA. And I remember walking down the avocado walls, that prison green, and it was like 3 a.m. They had woke me up to get the P test. And I remember saying, "You're 31 and the rabbit done died,
Yeah.
You're pregnant."
Yeah.
Wow. And I knew I had 3 months to do at CIW, which was the prison where the Manson girls were, by the way. And I had already spent a year there, so I was pretty familiar with that place. And I thought, what if this baby could change my life? What if this baby is my answer? And my family flipped out. They just thought, you have 2 kids. Go get the 2 kids you have lost custody of. And I said, but I haven't. It's been 4 years. I haven't.
Yeah.
I have a chance in my stomach. And everybody disowned me. My mother, everyone said, if you're going to go that route, we're done with you. And I said, okay, then you're going to have to be done with me, because I'm not going to have an abortion in prison. If I can't stay clean, I'll give the child up for adoption. But I could feel something inside of me remembering myself.
Yeah, which is so incredible. This journey of you were go, 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 go in prison. Here you are in a space where you had to stop and you had to go in. And when you went in, you also got this miraculous. We know even in the walls in Egypt, they say birth, it means miracle. Birth, a baby is a miracle. Every birth, every birth is, and in the most profound way, this pregnancy, you were tapping into the stillness and the miracle. And
well, in Egypt also a big part of our experience is remembering
yes,
who we are. And it sounds like you just said it so clearly, there was a remembering of a deeper sense of who you are.
Yeah.
Because I think it sounds like you were lost in the non-remembering. It was like there was so many energies, so many experiences, so much disconnection, and that experience is what allowed you to remember. And that's so important.
Yes.
Because we get lost. That's why there's this unhappiness. That's why there's this need for something to soothe that, whether it's drugs or alcohol or whatever that might be. And so what a beautiful moment to have that remembering and that awakening to a deeper sense of who you are.
And that being the power, this right here, you had powerful people around you, personalities, parents, the father of your children. Here you were with this vulnerable space. And that's where you connected with yourself and felt power. And I'd love to hear what else came through that for you.
Well, I'd like to talk about something Greg mentioned, and then we can go
Yes.
back to what else came to me through that. But what you just said, Greg, about remembering who I was, and for our listeners out there, to make this more personal for you, what's your moment? When's your moment going to come? And if you're, using means to escape your reality, whether it be shopping, sex, alcohol, drugs, what's going to be your moment? Where is your moment going to come from? And so even just in this moment, breathing in, clearing your mind, taking a moment to get into your heart and ask yourself, when's my moment going to come that I can connect with myself, that I can love myself so much that I want to stop escaping. And not that we're all perfect and we're like this all the time, you guys.
Yeah.
I have my stuff still. I do. I still escape. I still have my stuff. But I'm real and I'm honest and I'm authentic with myself. And I ask myself how I'm doing, and I check in with my friends and ask how they're doing and look in their eyes and get out of the telephone and have a real moment and ask them how they think I'm doing, and they ask me how they think I think they're doing, and this connection. And Sarah said it so beautifully earlier. She said, you can tell how you're doing by the friends around you. So if you're still connected and having a lot of people around you that are negative and you feel are pulling you down, then pull yourself up. Put the golden light around you and start looking the other way. And love them, but don't carry them any longer. And
That's so beautiful and profound. The question that came up as you were talking for miracle makers, is this your moment? Is this your moment? Can you let someone else's struggle be a space that you say, I'm going to accept whatever has been in the past, accept all of me now, surround myself with the golden condor light, Isabella Stoloff, golden condor light energy, and turn and begin taking the steps of not being distracted, but into a space of surrender and a deep listening and connection with what's real.
which is you. Hello, which is you. It's not a quick fix. It's not a healing from me. It's not a reading from Sarah. It's not anything from Greg. It's you. Yeah. What we do is hold space. So if you're feeling pulled in by people or pulled in by their drama, realize that's a codependent way of healing. That's the old model. The new model, which is really the old model, and we're talking about wisdom, the old model, which is the wisdom teaching. So I know I might jump around a bit, but if you go in, because I just channel and it comes out of me, I can't help it. But if you get out of that giving your light away, carrying other people's life in this codependent healing modality, and give everyone all their power back and take all your power back and go up into the upper realm, shine your light, golden light. Then you shine from here. Now you're no longer accepting other people's projections. What other people think of me is none of my business. No longer people-pleasing, trying to make that person okay with me, because I'm not okay with me. And all that other mind stuff, clearing the mind, going up through the higher self into the upper realms, connecting with your higher self and your God consciousness and that beautiful miracle maker energy, then that's your moment. Hello, and it can be right now. Right now can be your moment.
Well, what we say is, miracle makers, don't delay your miracle. It is
Yeah.
right now.
It is right
Yeah.
now. And we've got Miracle Makers Stoloff, Isabella Stoloff in the house. And
I love being with you guys. And
Yes.
then you guys, you'll
Yes.
feel it. You'll feel the vibration of the people that are around you. You'll start to feel the vibration. Now, here, let's go back into that 60s. We talked about vibes.
Yes.
Is that a good vibe or a bad vibe?
your vibe attracts your tribe. And
Hello.
your vibe
It
got you
so
into
does.
prison at the time, had
It
you
did.
pregnant at the time.
It did.
And so we're
Connecting
walking
with that lower dimensional
And-
vibration
At-
so that I could do what I do today.
at the same time. Miracles start coming in, and you're left on your own. Your family has disowned you, everyone you know, and
Here
so
we go.
Yes,
Yeah,
here we go.
Back there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started so funny, you guys. I started off telling Greg and Dr. Sarah, so let's just not talk about my past this time. You know, that's enough of that already. Let's
Yes.
just talk about who I am today. And they both sat there and said, okay. But this is whatever you want, sweetheart, but this is Miracle Makers, so we are making miracles.
And to really get, you are a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone listening today, no matter where they are, can really realize what's possible for them when they let go and believe that miracles are happening for them. And your miracle of, you take tours around the world now.
Right.
You connect with royalty. You connect with Hollywood. You're at 180 degrees, 360 degrees around from where you were at one point.
Completely. So you can take that scene of me in this one-person cell
Yes.
again, which is so funny because we were just talking about, I said this to a client and she said, I didn't know that about you. So we were talking about something and I was like, oh yeah, you know, like during the earthquake when I'm sitting in a cell all by myself and all the guards are running out and rats are going up and down the hallway and the women are screaming and I'm thinking, okay, God, I don't think you intended for me to go this way, but if so, so be it. Thank God I'm not down the hall with these screaming women because
Yes.
I'm like alone in my own space, in my own. And I just went through the earthquake and I was fine. So you know, I've had some miracles happen, so I thought, you know, what if this baby could save my life? And I came out of prison, and my daughter's father was also in prison because, as you know, the two other children's father had passed, and I couldn't get into Orange County. I was out of LA and he was out of Orange County and he was saying, go and live with my brother and his wife. They'll take care of you. And I can't. So I'm here with the drug addicts in North Hollywood doing what I know how to do and staying clean. And I knew I'd relapse. I just knew that I could not stay in that environment. And I found the only pregnant women's drug program in Pacoima, and I went to Pacoima, pregnant, and they did something. I was there less than 30 days, and they did something that made me crazy, and I stood up in the middle of group and was how I am, and they kicked me out. So, not the first time I'd been kicked out of a drug program, let me tell you. I was kicked out of Delancey Street in the 80s. I tried, you guys. I tried
You
for
were
I tried for
shaking.
20
You
years
took
to get out of it,
the steps
And
necessary.
that one,
yeah.
So that one, I did finally get out of it.
And then you met the first healer that really took.
And then, so well, before that, I actually went back to school. So finally got back into Orange County, told the parole officer, if I go back there, you might as well put me back in prison. I can't live in LA. I'm going to go back to school. So I had about a 5th grade education. I checked out in about 5th grade, went through junior high. So I don't remember junior high much, but I went to Orange Coast College and I met an English teacher. And I sat in her class and I thought, I won't make it. And she said, write me a story. And I wrote her my story. Just one page of who I was and where I'd come from. And she said, you'll be fine. Stay in the class. And I got an A in that class, and I continued to get A's and scholarships, and I hated school. I hated it, and I loved it. My daughter was in the Orange County Healing Center, in the OC daycare, and I got custody of my other 2 kids back, and they were nuts and crazy, and I dealt with that, and I went through Narcotics Anonymous for 8 years, and I got a bachelor, moved to Fullerton, got a bachelor's degree, moved to Idaho, got a master's degree, so I have an MFA in acting and public speaking. And I was in Idaho very stuck. Even though I'd done, 15 years of getting my life together and getting all these degrees and being that go-getter, and I had an at-risk children's program, and we, wrote plays, and they did a program called Shattered Voices, and they, and I was doing all this healing work, and I didn't even know it. I was a gang intervention specialist, and I had acting classes 3 to 93, and you work out your problems through theater. And but there I was in Idaho, and I was very stuck. I needed a liver biopsy. I needed knee surgery. My mother had dementia and was in a home. I was exhausted. I was exhausted, and I felt my mother come to me. And she had always believed in psychics and readers and channelers and astrology, and so she raised me very eclectic. So for her to come to me in my dreams and for her to come to me, I believed it. And she said, get me out of here. And I said, how am I going to get you out of there? I can't get myself out of here. I was in a dark room in a dark place and unhappy. And I made a phone call, and somebody said, you need a healing with a shaman. And I said, what's a shaman? Is that like a Native American Indian, person? No, actually, it's a Peruvian shaman, and she lives in Chile, and you're going to do it over the phone. And I said, over the phone? How's that going to work? Of course, now I do healings over the phone, but then it was wild. And I had that healing, and within a month, my mom transitioned. And within 6 months, I had the liver biopsy, the knee surgeries, broke up with a boyfriend, and moved my daughter back to California. Had such a miraculous shamanic healing. And the liver biopsy I almost died from. So I called her back, and I said, it's my dead husband. He's stuck inside me, and I know that when he died, and I was by his bed, he went out of his body and into mine. I knew it, but I didn't have words for it. I didn't know about extractions. I didn't know what I know now, And she said, oh, no, Miss Isabella. No. You know, we have to honor the dead. I said, I'm not honoring him. Or of course I do honor him now. But in those days, it was, still the story of the battered wife and the drug addict. And so, sure enough, she does the extraction. Oh, you're right. It's eyes. I start throwing up. So I had such a profound experience that I came back and I started studying with Alberto Villoldo and the Four Winds Society and learning about shamanism in 2007. From 2007 to 2009, I was still teaching acting at the university and college level and public speaking. And I wasn't going to call myself a shaman. I wasn't going to call myself a healer because I believe we're all healers. We're all shamans of one kind or another. You could be a shaman that works with wood. You could be a shaman that sings.
How would you define a shaman? Yes.
So the very first radio show I ever did, because I started doing them very early on, Spirit was
Yeah.
2009, that was it. The minute I stepped in as the Orange County Healing Center, it was on. And I had to look up the word shaman because I didn't know what the word shaman meant. And it very simply said, a conduit between the physical world and spiritual world.
A conduit between, you make the invisible visible,
And I
or
thought,
you give the
yeah.
invisible words.
And I do that.
Yeah.
I am a conduit. I could say that.
Yes.
I might not be a shaman that does herbs or plant medicine, but I'm definitely a shaman that can help you release all those old imprints and all that
Yes.
old energy. You were going to say something,
Well,
Greg.
miracle makers are shamans in a sense. Yeah, because miracles are beyond the physical in a sense. It's hard to pinpoint down where do miracles come from. So in a sense, to be a miracle maker, you are a shaman.
You're
also.
walking in grace.
Yeah, walking
And
in grace. Yeah.
It's one of the things that we've experienced with our clients, with our friends, with those that we bring into our community is this brilliant energy that translates into synchronicity after synchronicity. It's better.
true.
Better than you could possibly create with your mind or your visions when you're holding the space thinking about it. It winds up being the feeling of something undeserved, which is how I define grace, and really making the greatest outcome come through from just being available to possibilities and trusting this breath. Trusting that this breath will have everything you need in it. And as you're breathing out, you'll extract what no longer serves you. And sometimes it's when you're sitting in a place that doesn't feel, you don't belong there. That's not who you are. You're ready for the next part. You don't know how. You just breathe and you stay open to the possibilities, and lo and
So
behold,
true.
someone
So true.
introduces you or someone connects with you. The exact words, the exact place that you need to be in next shows up for you. And that's miracle makers. That's why we bring these beautiful teachings, teachers, healings, and possibilities. I love that.
Well, actually, what I was going to say is, if a miracle makers are listening, like, what does this look like? It's not clear to me. If someone was like wanted to try on being a shaman for the day or for the week, what would you suggest they do?
I love that, Greg, because I love to tell people, be the shaman in your life. Be the shaman. Be your own shaman.
Yeah, be your own shaman.
Yeah, be your own shaman. So first is, connecting with the unseen world. So noticing that butterfly when it passes you and thanking it. Putting your hand on the tree. It's not hippy-dippy. It's true. Taking your shoes off and putting them in the grass. Staring up at the stars at night, if you can find them, or, go out to Joshua Tree and find them. But really simple things, you guys. You just, before you go to sleep at night, telling yourself, I love you. You're doing a great job. And if the ego comes in and tries to tell you something different, tell the ego, this is not your time to talk. This is my time to tell myself I love myself. To wake up in the morning and be excited for the day, to light incense, to light a candle. It's a sacred act. It's a moment, and it's so simple. In your office, on your desk, you could have a little tea light, and you could just say, you know what, things are getting a little crazy right now. I'm just going to light this candle and take a breath and be open to endless possibilities. Something I did early on, so in answer to your question, but something I did early on around money, because people are so, freaked out around money, and so was I, that I'd look at the bank account and I would literally shut down. The more of the shamanism things I did and the more open I was to the unseen world and the more connected I became, I would notice when my energy body would shut down. So I'd look at the bank account and every single chakra would just, it would just be like, you guys know the feeling, right? God, I don't know the IRS, the property taxes, right? And I realized that when I did that, nothing could come through. Yeah. Nothing could come to me that way. And I thought, what difference would it make if I pretended there were more zeros when I looked at the bank account and I just breathed, my energy body opened. I'm open to endless possibilities. There's not $6. There's $6,000. Well, why not? Okay. And I kid you not, it would happen. Over and over and over again. Needed the roof fixed. The Orange County Healing Center is still my tiny home in Fullerton. I needed a new roof. I got a great deal for $3,000. I had $1,000. I told the woman, I have $1,000. If you tell me how much it is, I'll be able to manifest it. She said, it's $3,000. I said, I'll have it by the time you're finished. And sure enough, it started coming in. And so her sons were on the roof, and I started telling them, look, exactly what I told your mother. Look, I have the money to pay you now. Look, because it does work. But you do have to open yourself, watch your energy body, watch your mind, see when it wants to go down the rabbit hole, see when you get uptight and anxious. I say blow it in a stone. But you can also just blow it through your hands. So here's a little trick. When you start to feel that way, just light and love, angels surround me, golden light, all is well.
And so your hands formed a circle and you blew through the circle, sort of like a conch shell, out.
Yeah,
releasing it through your breath, out through your body.
Exactly. If you say something about yourself that's negative, you could just say, cancel, cancel, cancel.
And you
what I mean to say is this. Last night, Victoria, my youngest, my doll, although I love my other kids and I now have 3 grandkids, so I have a huge tribe of my own of lovely, energetic kids and grandkids. But last night I was talking to Victoria, and she's been going through some struggles of her own, and she's, freaking out about the car, about the rent, about that. And I just said, honey, everything's going to be okay. And this morning she calls me, Mom, my car's done. It wasn't supposed to be done for 2 weeks. I don't understand. Everything's okay. I said, I know. Just everything. So when your kids or your partner, or they go into that energy, don't go into the energy with them. Not that I don't. I am a mother. I do go into it sometimes. But I catch myself and I pull myself out and I say, everything's going to be great. It's always better. And if not better, it's different. So just go with whatever's happening in the moment. Don't drag the past with you. Don't project too far into what's happening in the future. Right now, life is good. Life is really, really good.
As long as you're breathing and you can take the hardest part for most people, I feel, is that inner voice. Is being able to open that up to deeper and deeper possibilities. And if you're saying, what inner voice? It's that one that just said, what inner voice? To really, really get that and to cherish that voice. To when you hear that voice, to really connect with it and not make your inner voice wrong, to fully accept what the inner is saying and gently move it into experiencing what is possible. Your imagination, asking it great questions. What if my bank account had more zeros? What would I feel like if it had more zeros?
Right.
What would I feel like if my beloved was sitting right next to me at this party? Instead of the feeling of, oh gosh, I wish I had a boyfriend. Oh gosh, I wish I had a partner.
Exactly.
How would I be in this moment if my beloved was right next to me? How would I interact with each person? Asking with your inner voice those profound questions. How would I show up if I wasn't in the past hurt by a girlfriend? How would I be with this girlfriend right now? How would I show up for her if I wasn't worried that I might get hurt someday? That innocence coming through and opening up into possibilities. And I love your smile. I love what you're going to create here.
As I'm listening here, I was like, when was I initiated as a shaman? Oh yeah, it's when I married you. Because I was on my toes and needing to tap into the inner powers every day since then because of love. and wanting to not only love you, but to receive your love in the most fullest possible way. Because I didn't want to, I noticed immediately how loving you were and how profoundly you were able to love. And I could see I was cutting myself off from being a non-shaman. So I wanted to jump into being a shaman as soon as possible because, wow, why would I want to limit, which I was doing, the love I could receive from you?
Which is so beautiful. I know.
So beautiful. And I've watched you guys over the years. I've been a good friend for a long time, and I love you guys so much. And watching your evolution and your growth and your power and your Egypt tours, and that really, you tagging me. I had no intention of visiting 6 countries last year. I had no idea. And that one tag got me England, Italy, Holland, Ibiza, Bali, Peru.
Yeah.
So, and now here we go. I just got back from leading a group to the Yucatan with my partner, Deborah Shea. She does an amazing job as well. And now I'll be on my own taking a group to Stonehenge, Avebury, Glastonbury. We're going to spend a week in Glastonbury and a beautiful castle in Cornwall. So I have a few spaces left if anyone's interested in joining me. You can find me at orangecountyhealingcenter.com. And
it's an amazing thing to be on a ride with a shaman, journeying through these magical spaces and these magical lands. You can visit, and you can visit the Great Pyramids. You could visit any of those places on your own. But when you're going with someone that has the possibility of creating words and energy for making visible the invisible, when you're walking in the shadows on the coattails with a group, the group manifestation is
it's
incredible.
We had 17 people in Peru, and my youngest, Victoria, which I was so grateful to have her. And being on those sacred sites with all those people and everyone awakening to their own gifts, and it's just like the connection that everyone felt, and then was able to then give to Mother Earth and connect deeply with Mother Earth and the star people, and just this. Just like you said, going with you or I, and you and Greg or I, to a sacred site is. Yeah, you can go on your own and get something, but there's something about the energy of being in a group and being in a sacred group on a spiritual journey. And that's why I started shamanic travel. It's
incredible. Thank
journey.
you for being on
you so
Miracle
much for having me on
Makers.
Miracle Makers. I'm just like, yay!
We love our Miracle Makers. We love our group. I'm so blessed to have had a grandmother who was a shaman, and so I've never not been on the path. And I've been so blessed to be able to wake so many and connect with so many. And so I'm so grateful to witness your blossoming.
Well,
And
you've seen it because 2009 is right when I just stepped in. So that was my, I think, first event
Yes.
I had ever been at, and putting myself out there to see people one-on-one. I mean, and now I have a training program, and it's just taken off. And look at you guys with your own radio show.
We love what we do. I'm so grateful that we've had this time. Yeah. Miracle Makers, we love you so much. We've got gifts for you on drsarahlarson.com, some from Egypt, some from love. And we will have links up for the OC Healing Center as well. Bravo.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. I love the energy in the room is amazing. Woo. So those of you out there, pick up on it. Shift.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you
see
so
you next
much,
week.
Isabella.
Thank you.
The past is history, the future mystery. This moment